Well, thanks everybody for being here. We're thrilled to kick off our AI and analytics wins, we call it, which are WITI industry networks and skills. So much great opportunity in this space, so much happening so quickly that spans across many different industries, and I think affects all of us, whether we're using it or looking for opportunities in these spaces. We're really thrilled, Tripti, to have you as one of our leaders for this, because just of all the work you do to empower young girls and women throughout their careers, having been at Avanade for 18 years and leading analytics and data science and AI and consulting, and just with your vast amount of experience working in so many industries and living abroad and in different parts of the world, I think if there's anything we learned from what's been happening over the last several years, that the world is smaller, and it's amazing that we have these tools to get together in these types of forums where we wouldn't probably all be at an event like this, right? Just because we couldn't travel there, but now here we are. So Tripti, I'm going to send it over, and we're thrilled to have you. This will happen the first Thursday of every month with this community. So over to you.
Hey, fantastic. And I just want to say I'm so excited to be here. Thank you again for all of you. It's an hour out of your day, and it's the first session, so we're really kicking off the industry network with this session. And I also want to just make a quick correction. I've been with Avanade for 6.5 years. It feels like 18 years, David, but it's 6.5 years. But I'm confident I'm going to get to 18 years at some point. So with that, I'd love to kick off the presentation, and I have to admit I am not very friendly with Zoom, being a Microsoft company. Maybe David, if you can move the slide ahead. And before we get going, I just want to make sure that I call out the fantastic team that's worked with me from Avanade to make this happen. Kita, who some of you heard from, Becca, who's from our call, both are from the analytics community, as well as Tirsa, who's just been absolutely amazing to just get this together and off the ground. And of course, Mika, who's not on the slide, but who is the one who introduced me to David and Win in the first place. So moving ahead a little bit, as we kick this off, a lot of this session is going to be about talking a little bit about WITI and what we want to do with this industry network, but as well as getting your inputs in terms of what do you think would be the best use of these sessions, right, as we meet monthly, and what would we like to do. So given that we're a bunch of us, 47 people on the call, we just love to take a quick poll and get a sense of where you sort of fall on the analytics spectrum, and a lot of you seem to fall in the experience scale from the intros we did. But if we could just do a quick sense check of how experienced we are, and this could be whether you're a data engineer, whether you are a machine learning practitioner, an AI ambassador, just good to see where you fall, right? So I'm just gonna give some time for the poll to get kicked off.
It looks like there's an issue with the poll I'm having, so I'm asking people to type the number in the chat, and then we'll pull together. Sorry about that.
Okay, let's look at this. So we have novices. Okay, so it looks like a good mix, actually. One to 5. Okay. Super. Are we all good? Should we move to the next two? So some beginners, but also practitioners. So really a healthy mix from my eyeballing analytics. The next question that I just wanted to do, and we can maybe just even speak aloud if the poll's not working, is really to think about the 2 or 3 things, maximum 3, that we would want to get out of these monthly sessions, right? And I just threw some out there just as thinking points, it could be something different as well. So the first is, especially for those of you on ones and twos, establishing career and learning paths and journeys within analytics and AI. The opportunity to share experiences and expertise, listen to subject matter experts, whether they're in industry, on specific technical topics. Networking, of course, I'm sure is going to be a huge part of this, but also with industry leaders in analytics and AI. Community outreach. So, do we want to do more tech for social good, social justice sort of hackathons through WITI events and education? Deep dives into technical topics, whether that's Power BI visualization tips and tricks, whether it is what is data mesh and why is it so hot right now, whether it's around machine learning algorithms, computer vision, or also non-technical topics. Like I heard, in the intros, things around interests around bias in data sets and how we can deal with it, responsible AI, topics around sustainability, for example, could be interesting. Or finally, just discussions, panels, Q&A with SMEs in the industry. So would just love to hear, David, I don't know how we'd like to run this, whether this is via chat or whether you'd like people to just come off mute and share a little bit.
Sure. Well, sure. Well, feel free to raise your hand if you'd like to come off mute and share. We'd love to hear from you. You can also type some things in the chat, and you will be getting a survey after where there's an opportunity to share what you'd like to see. But would anybody like to share what they'd like?
And I'll be taking notes on the side as well, so it'll be recorded.
Fantastic. Thanks, Becca.
Like one thing for me, I'll just say, I'm seeing all these new tools like copy.ai and some of the things where you can create logos and video with AI. I mean, I think that's a real exciting area now that I'd love to explore with this community, and tools I've been starting to use, but I feel like I'm not maximizing what's possible as a user.
Fantastic. We also have some comments: networking, some technical topics, especially non-technical topics, use cases, real world experiences. April has her hand up. Maybe if you just want to come off mute.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. So you had mentioned you were looking for kind of ones and twos, and I actually registered as a 4.
Right.
But I think that maybe I have something to contribute. I come from kind of interesting experience, and I was fortunate. I graduated with a degree from Arizona and had some great internships right out of college, and started establishing some really amazing mentors along the way. And I've kind of been in and out of industry. I worked my way through college, so I did all the odd jobs to, get into college and get my degree. And I'm at the place in this position that I've kind of come back to almost being a 1 and a 2.
Yeah.
And to be honest, a lot of that challenge is kind of the diversity of equity involved in my career as well too. So we actually found that we have kind of one of the sensitive areas of disabilities of having a gene in our family that we found, and it's a really severe disability. So I'm kind of fortunate in the sense of that, believe it or not, we have a lot of engineers. So we have a lot of problem solving minds that are right next to somebody that has a very, very severe disability. It's kept me very propelled. Like my aim and ambition was, to continue into artificial intelligence and to work in developing computers. And so my question, I guess, or contribution in this too, is also then kind of the benefits that are truly astounding to come out of the industry. Again, having kind of reared through a bunch of engineers to now really be on the cusp of, how does, the biological gene and the effect of the family culture and working through the diversity and equity of the community of actually creating, the service and product to actually get through. Like, I feel like we as technology developers, I can tell you all the languages, like, the NDJ4 or the DL4Js or, the Kiras and all the Python, modules that are working. And I can tell you the relational and the non-relational databases. And I can tell you the different business architectures, whether it's B2B or B2C, but really to understand like the face of it here right now, we're so limited. You don't see somebody on the street with, a technical device that's, keeping their life saved and
Right.
making their daily processing and their contributions and how they're surviving, especially when anything to do with disability. I feel like it's not integrated yet. And I feel like that's
Right.
such a valuable part. Do you have any contributions in that area?
Well, we're going to add it to the list, April, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to, April, first of all, thank you for sharing. Fantastic to meet you. And I actually completely agree. I mean, when we were, just to share internally looking at ethics and responsible AI within Avanade, one of the topics we found that was less looked at was accessibility, right? So even if we create something as simple as a virtual agent, we don't think about how people with limited sight would deal with it, or just small things like that are things that we don't even often think about. So I completely get what you're saying, and I think it would be a great topic, David, to actually add to what our list of what we'd like to talk about. Does that work, Bill?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we'd love to have you speak, or obviously bring industry speakers, but have you share like some of your experiences and thoughts too.
Right. Kate, I think Kate had her hand up. Did your question get answered, Kate, or did you want to share?
I was just going to actually share, because they're all good points on the slide. And just in general, one of the things that the company I work for offers is teachings and trainings and whatnot.
Right.
And that's something that I enjoy doing prior. That's part of why I took the job. But I'm always looking to be able to help and do things community-wise, with all the ones and twos, mentoring or coaching. I'd love to connect with anybody who's looking at that. I'm extremely talented in the Power BI space specifically, but I also am good with SQL and Python and things like that. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what this group can do.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kate. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of Avanade people reaching out to you, given that we just do Microsoft and a ton of Power BI. And I see a lot of really good comments to people voting for all the points. Can we rotate? Petula, absolutely. We will rotate focus areas and probably actually every month as well, maybe pick a different theme to just keep some diversity of topics. I love this one. I'd love to hold an idea party. That's great. Okay. Establishing career, a lot of establishing career, networking, emerging trends. So really fantastic topics. Networking with AI execs. Yes, we can certainly get some of that as well. Okay, fantastic. Are we ready? Is there anyone else who would want to share, or are we ready to move on a little bit?
Mary Catherine has her hand up. Mary Catherine.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
I kind of would like to put an interesting spin on this, in that I would like to know the world at a high level and from a management perspective. And let me give an example in that I've just walked into a 3D project and I have to lead this. I don't know 3D. I don't know all the right words that I need to say, all the right pieces of things that I need to ask. But yet I have to lead this team. And I don't want to leave them over the cliff.
Yeah.
So this world, this technology is very interesting, but I don't want to end up on a project where that is AI and not know all of the right words to say, what all the right questions to ask them. Hearing machine learning and AI and responsible AI and things like that. And from a management perspective, I want to make sure that I ask all the right questions. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So I'm just going to try and summarize it. So there is one aspect, if you're leading a team in a technical topic that you're not super close to, and I think all consultants in this call are going to be like, yep, been there, done that a little bit. And I'm just wondering, and you can say no while I say that aloud, if there's an element of how do you deal with that specific situation, right? And then a second one of, hey, how do I get up to speed on some of the basics of AI, from like what questions to ask about the data prep, standard tools and things that make sense, right? Is it these two things or just the latter? Did I summarize that right?
Exactly. What resources do I need to go to, and what are the high level aspects, the verticals that I need to make sure to hit, and things like that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Super.
Hopefully that makes sense.
That makes sense. Everything makes sense. All contributions make sense. No, that sounds great.
Thank you.
Okay. Maybe we can then move on to just a little bit. I did want to level set on WITI, and I know some of you have, are more veterans. For some of you are doing this for the first time. So just reiterating, WITI's mission of really empowering innovators, inspiring our future generations, and building inclusive cultures, right? And really, I was personally very impressed when I saw WITI's ecosystem, more than 3 million professionals like us, 60 networks, 300 partners. I mean, David, that's absolutely incredible. But also, the fact that we have this kind of a platform to engage, across as individuals and as companies, and redefining the way that we collaborate, whatever we identify as, to drive this innovation and business growth. And I love the word collaborate here because it is a network for each and every one of us, and hence it's important that it sort of meets what we're looking for, as a community. And so moving forward a little bit, I just wanted to talk about the WITI goals as well, which is, first to become the gold standard for intersectional inclusivity, to really spark innovation that uplifts all, empowering each of us to create that meaningful transformation, in our organizations or whatever we are choosing to do at this point, and to foster accessibility. And we talked about this, just a few minutes ago, and celebrating differences, right? And all of this underpinned by our core values of no one standing alone, no cliques, really, identifying that strength that diversity has, and goes without saying, absolutely zero tolerance for racism or any kind of prejudice or microaggressions or bullying. And it is about collaboration. And in that spirit, whoever you identify with are always included. So talking a little bit about the industry networks, if we move forward. So the WITI industry-based networks, and of course, with this call, we are kicking off the analytics and AI industry network, and it's really aims at giving this sort of a collaboration platform, the one that we're using today, to give each of us an additional competitive edge in today's world. And WITI will both spotlight as well as showcase the technology and business contributions that we're making in industry sectors through different ways, right? Be it partnering with business and technology conferences to help them expand their speaker, business, and audience communities and be able to attract more professional women, whether it's through opening doors to really an increased number of mainstream publication opportunities. And that could include podcast and video, and to continue to expand influential, thought leadership, but also to provide industry-focused networking events. So really for us to be able to hear from and network with the role models, to be able to share industry-specific practices, career development tools, tips, or just develop more partnerships, right? And then finally, identifying and creating more compelling and relevant content for women in the industry. So really a lot of the stuff that we talked about, but powerful to see, all the different aspects that the industry-based network can capture. And so moving forward a little bit, with that, we just put together our goals as an industry network for AI and analytics. And post this, we're going to, get into more discussion groups, and we can always adjust and tweak it. And of course, we will add the feedback that we've heard so far. But the main one, and I think everybody a lot of people resonated with this, was to network and share experiences, just as we did, and the ability to really meet and learn from different subject matter experts in the industry and industry leaders about, a variety of topics in the AI and analytics industry, which is a huge space in itself. The community outreach and support. So really, there's different tech for social good, whether we do stuff around social justice. We talked a little bit about accessibility through WITI events and educations, discussing more of the technical topics, what are the emerging trends, tools, tips, various areas, and so on. And then also participating in non-technical discussions. So, engaging in conversations, whether it is about bias in data sets, leadership paths, mentorship, sustainability now is huge, and AI and analytics has a big role to play. So just some sort of goals that we put forward for this industry group. And so with that, we just love to do some breakouts, get some feedback on the goals that we have, but also if we move to the next slide, start getting your thoughts and, what would you like the next subsequent sessions to be? This is just a laundry list of topics that, a few of us have thrown on a slide. These can change. We can do something different. We can prioritize one of these depending on what people are interested in. So I think it would be really good to just get into some groups and give some feedback and just hear from you and what you'd like to hear from in our next session.
Awesome. And these will be 10-minute breakout rooms, and the person with the first name closest to A can go first and introduce yourself and connect with each other, and then share, discuss what Tripti had mentioned. Thank you. And Anu, I'm going to assign you to a breakout room. Give me 1 second. Oh. April, you should be getting a message to go to a breakout room. Upward the link. Hold on, Elaine, I'm going to move. Huh. Fatima, are you here? April, are you here? In the rain. Hey, Lorraine. Lorraine, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, I got disconnected.
That's
So
okay.
I'm not sure if you guys said anything.
That's all right. I'm going to add you and Becky to a breakout room. Let me just make sure all of them are going. All right, I'm going to put you in a good, both of you in number 11, I think. Oh, wait, I've got another 3. All right, so one's going to go in 11 and one's going to go in 5. 11, and Becky in 5. Got Lizzie in. Hey, Lizzie. Lizzie, welcome. So everybody's in breakout rooms now. I'm going to add you to one. Oh, actually, we're going to create our own breakout room here, it looks like.
Okay.
Roy, so Lizzie, first of all, and Roy, people are just in breakout rooms, so we're having our non-breakout room here.
Love it.
So Lizzie, please share where you're coming in from and what you do.
So I am coming in from Sacramento, California, and I'm just in the car. That's why I'm not on video, running back from my lunch errand. And I work for Gilead Sciences on the compliance side. So one of my major responsibilities is quality metrics for the IT department.
Awesome. Welcome. And Lizzie, I'm going to put you, because one breakout room lost a few people, and then I'm going to say hi to Roy, and then we're going to get you going. So you're going to go in a second. What's happening, Roy? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Good.
Sorry, another call pop up in so this first half hour got taken by that, but so it goes.
Happening. It's happening the first Monday of every, or first Thursday of every month. We have a lot going on. So anyway, everybody, as you'll see now, is coming back from the breakout rooms, and thanks for joining. I was just briefing some of the new people, Tripti, that came in during the breakout rooms, giving an update. So
that's very cool. We're still missing, I think, a bunch of people.
Yeah, 25 seconds. Everybody will be coming back.
Okay.
Hey, Gita, good to see you.
Hey there, great to see you. Thanks for inviting me.
Too. Thank you. Hey, Elaine, everybody.
Is being recorded.
Now everybody should be back. And Tripti, welcome. So how was the breakout room experience for you? And I'd love to, see if a couple people want to share maybe what happened in their group. What do you think?
Yeah.
David, I can go. I'm sorry, Tripti.
Oh, please, Tamara, go for it.
Tamara, go for it.
Hey, Tripti.
Hey.
Well, we, going into the breakout room, these suggested topics went away. So we didn't have the top, and like, did anybody capture the screen before we went into the breakout room? But our group had some really good discussions. We had some younger, less experienced people that really want some mentoring and support on, how to step up and how to share their ideas when they're in a room, where they're not the expert, or they don't have as much experience as the other people there, but how do they really, step forward in a room, be able to, really bring their ideas. And then we had a lot of discussion on ways people are using AI to improve their business and their life, ethics of AI and the inherited bias of AI. And then one of the gentlemen, early AI, and he's a father and a stepfather, has daughters and granddaughters, and I'm a single mom with a 27-year-old, and I've been came up through college with being the only person in my computer engineering classes, and having to break a lot of the good old boy network and the barriers in the technology side. So how do we empower the younger generation? How do we keep involving women leading roles in this area? So we kind of were jumping all over different subjects, but AI and ethics of AI and kind of the bias around AI was one of the areas. But so that's kind of what our group talked about.
Well, it's fantastic. And Tamara, I love also the mentoring and support, and just how can people like share their ideas in a very safe space. And I think that's a topic we didn't think about, but we can absolutely, and we have so many mentors in this audience as well, right? So that's fantastic.
Yeah, I was talking to him because, I've mentored, our STEM scholars with Cal Poly. I mentor our interns of, we've had all kinds of different experience, but yeah, if they, they want to, feel confident in their communication and, really stepping up and sharing and learning and being able to speak, and if you can't bring your ideas, forward, then you're not going to know whether your idea is valid or, or whether you're actually learning it correctly. So just, empowering the younger generation to speak and learn the technology and step up.
Yeah.
I'll jump in. I guess there was someone who raised their hand. The engineer whisperer. Did you want to go first? No.
Sorry. No.
Okay, I'll jump in. Our group, had actually similar topics as Tamara's group. The team was really interested in networking and learning and having the opportunity. One of the people was very new to data. A couple of others, were long but being able to learn from others in a similar space with the similar priorities. We actually then moved on to a conversation about ethical AI and the concern about potential bias, unintentional bias we were talking about in the models, in the algorithms, and how to get around that. And that led to the topic of, can you open up the black box and see, what's inside the black box that led to the predictions that came out, and the ability to have machine and human interaction within AI. We touched briefly on the advantages of that and also the risks associated with that.
Karen, that's fantastic. And it's interesting, the topic, and we'll definitely, I think it's clear we need a session on ethical AI, but you touched upon so many things in that. And that's one of the, I would say not misconceptions, but a lot of people think about ethical AI and instantly think like the model and the data is biased, right? But there's so many other things, like, is the model transparent enough? Do you actually need a machine learning model to begin with? Is it actually driving too much energy resources and hence is not sustainable? So there's so many, is it accessible? So there's so many actually dimensions of ethical AI as well, right? Whether it's accessibility or bias, or you talked about how transparent the machine learning models are, right? Are you using a black box technique when you don't need to? So I definitely, I think there is some sort of resonance that we definitely need to do a session on that.
Yeah, I mean, the transparency was a key topic in the few minutes that we had.
Fantastic. The Engineer Whisperer, I love that name. I think you're up next.
Hi, everyone. I'm really new to this group, so as I said, in a smaller group, I'm not sure about my place and purpose right now. This is my first call, but it was great to meet the 4 other powerful women in the room with me. Maybe they want to add more.
Okay. And Andrea, is your name Andrea? I'm just guessing.
Andrea, yes.
Andrea, great to meet you. And where are you dialing in from?
From Seattle, and I was the one who suggested the idea party, so feel free to connect with me on that more.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, is there any other group that would like to go, or someone from your group who'd like to contribute?
Maybe I can go.
Oh, sorry.
No,
sorry.
please go.
I was part of Andrea's team, and it was just fantastic to hear about. We were actually talking about mapping our pre-analytical skills to AI initiatives, and how so much of that knowledge and that experience is translatable to some of the new work that AI is generating. And I always find that to be fascinating as we continue to grow our careers, to also kind of acknowledge that we have a lot of skills that are applicable to these new jobs. So I thought that was an interesting part of our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Sandhya, were you next?
Yeah, I can, Tripti, I think you know most of the discussion, but maybe for everybody else's benefit, I would like to call out. So one of the common topics most of us in our breakout would like to understand is the best practices and what is the latest and greatest in this field of AI and analytics people are doing across the industry. So that is definitely one thing we would love to hear more about. One of the persons in our breakout room, she teaches as well, and she would like to get some exposure, give some exposure to her students as well, so that they are not only engaging with people around them, but people across the globe. So it is going to be a very good and unique opportunity for them. And yes, one of us also wanted to know more about AIs because she's not that actively engaged into this in her day-to-day job. So yeah, these were the key themes for our room.
Fantastic. And I see Hannah, you have your hand up as well.
Yeah, I was in a breakout room with Debbie, Petula, and Howard. And Howard and I were fairly new. I'm a recent graduate, so I don't have, this is my first interaction with AI outside of school. And Petula was kind enough to give us a firsthand story about her a healthcare system story, and just how even AI, like in like the trainings that they have for doctors and in schools can like mimic the person who develops them. And so it's what I learned from it all, from our discussion, Debbie and Petula were much more educated in their real world, is that it really matters who you have on the team designing it, in the sense of it will mimic whoever designs it, and it will be biased to some extent. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I definitely just want to know more about AI and emerging trends, and basically very, as Debbie put it, broad topics.
Fantastic. And congratulations on your recent graduation, and great to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay. Trying to see, I think Becky, you raised your hand. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. Hey, Becky. You're in mute, so you may just want to unmute.
Sorry, it popped up and muted me. I was in a really great breakout group, and I really appreciated Ms. Kaiwada. I hope I'm not butchering that name. Had a lot of insight. She's like a lead in Avanade, and there were several other people from that company in the breakout, and she just had a lot of great tips for how to get into the field of AI and what's going on, the data value chain, and a wide variety of information about the latest things going on with AI, how you use it, and just data in general, and tips for getting into the field. So I really appreciated that feedback.
Fantastic. And so these are topics you'd like to see in the discussions as well, I'm guessing?
I thought they were really of value, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. David, I see you have your hand up.
I wanted to comment. Thank you, Tripti. You know, we had our ag tech launch on Monday, and there was a woman that was an attorney there that, and I'll put it in the chat, where I guess it was a recent court ruling that AI cannot write patents. So I think the whole legal aspect of it is pretty interesting too. We do have our partnership, and our next meeting's Monday with the US Patent and Trademark Office. So we have them there to support everybody that might be thinking of inventions or how they can get involved in the process of their companies. So I just thought maybe the legal aspect too could be something to cover during the sessions.
Okay.
That was it.
Thanks, David. Okay, so any other comments, any other thoughts from anybody? If not, we do have great feedback to actually put together and sort of funnel into future sessions. And hopefully this was a good opportunity to achieve one of our goals, which is networking, and just starting to get to know each other as a group as well. Okay.
Oh, and if I could add one thing too, please, Tripti. Everybody will be getting a survey afterwards. So if there's topics you might like to speak or facilitate about, or within this community or many of the other communities of WITI, please feel free to type in the survey. There's a lot of open areas for comments. So we'd love the feedback. And thank you, Tripti. Amazing session today. I know we're not 100% done yet. I want to make sure I got that in.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you so much, David. And this is pretty much a wrap for our session today. Thank you again for all of you for making the time. Really, really excited to be kicking off this industry network, and obviously more to come on a range of topics. All of our LinkedIn, at least us from Avanade, who are sort of helping get this network going. Our link, you can reach out to us on LinkedIn. Happy to take any mentorship requests, any comments, just any general feedback, networking. All of that is all welcome and open. And again, big thank you, David, for the partnership. And the last thing I want to say is obviously, we'd love to hear from you. There's some amazing practitioners in this group, right? People focused in different industry. So we'd love to have you as part of driving these sessions as well. So again, with collaboration, this is going to be fantastic. But just want to end this with a big thank you for making the time. Hope you found it fun and useful. And we're going to deep dive into more topics in subsequent sessions.
Thanks so much, Tripti, and all of you for being here. And thank you to Avanade for being such a great WITI partner. We love what we're doing together, and more exciting things happening in the future.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.